Hi everybody. So I feel a little strange because I'm not used to like so many cars being around. It's usually like so desolate around here, but right now it's actually, for this area, it's pretty packed. So I feel a little weird recording right now, but I wanted to make this video for a while, and I know that this is like a really controversial type thing to be talking about. And I kind of wanted to get into my reasonings as to why I no longer support this organization. A lot of the reasonings that you're going to hear from me are very similar sentiments to what you hear a lot of people say here on YouTube. And this is in regards to Black Lives Matter. Several months ago, when I was doing those videos on the police killings of Latin people, right? I did a lot of those videos. I had a lot of slack from other YouTubers, from just, some of my followers. Like, they didn't like the fact that I was doing that, basically. Some people appreciated it, and there was people who didn't, right? There were some people that were basically trying to suggest that I was blowing things out of context, right? Which I don't agree with at all. And to me, it's something that I felt very passionately about, and that was why I did that at the time. First and foremost, when it comes to police brutality, I think that is a serious issue that has been going on for such a long time. In particular with Black Americans, but with Latin Americans, and of course with Native Americans, and even with white Americans. Just in general, police who abuse their power has been a problem for a very long time. And that was why at the time I felt compelled to do that, especially with everything that was going on with George Floyd. But one day I finally did my due diligence, and I was like, you know what? Because I hear people talking about why we shouldn't support this organization, and then I finally looked up the organization for myself. I think a lot of people who support this organization still to this day haven't went and researched what they're about, okay? So not only do they talk about destroying the nuclear family, which is like, wow, because to me that was one of the main things that stood out to me. It was like, there's a lot of promotion of just LGBTQ things and, protecting the trans community. I'm not saying that those things aren't important, okay? Another thing that they talk about is they bring up Latin people, but they don't bring up Latin people who were shot and killed by police. No, they talk about immigration. That is another issue, fair enough. But the thing is, what do these things have to do with police brutality? Absolutely nothing. So it's like there's all of these other things that they have within their statements that are irrelevant to police brutality. And it's almost as these other things take precedence over police brutality. So what really are you supporting? You're supporting an organization that wants to mainly destroy the nuclear family, and is talking about trans issues and trans women and, to protect trans women. I'm not saying that trans women don't deserve, any type of protection or whatever. But at the same time, it's not like trans women are getting shot and killed by the police left and right. So when it comes to trans women, and they're speaking in regards to trans people and aggressions that happen to trans women, essentially, those are black on black crimes because they are focusing on black transgender women. So usually with black transgender women, when they're getting hurt by black men who maybe find out that they're transgender and they don't like that, and then they end up, it's sad. It's sad, but that would be considered black on black crime. But then if you tell these same people, if you talk about black on black crime, it's like, how dare you talk about black on black crime? But you're talking about black on black crime. If you're talking, it's so confusing. So basically they pick and choose what black on black crime to focus on. So it's okay to focus on black crime if it involves transgender people, but it's not okay to talk about black on black crime if it's talking about, you know, gang related things and stuff that happen within these inner city communities. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Granted, black on black crime is a separate issue. I'm not saying that it's the same, but they're essentially saying it's the same if they're talking about black transgenders and things that happen to black transgenders. That is black on black crime. So why is that okay to put within your movement, but other black on black crime is not? I'm confused. I'm just, it doesn't make any sense. And then when they're talking about immigration, again, that is a serious issue. But what does that have to do with police brutality? Now, if they focused on these Latin people who get killed by the cops, and especially on the West Coast, in a lot of cases, when I did research, a lot of these people were illegal. Not all of them, but there was a lot that were. So their families were in fear to speak up about, you know, getting killed or getting unjustly killed by the cops, because they were in fear of being deported themselves. So there is a lot of that. So I could have seen if the movement even discussed that. I would have been like, okay, I see how that correlates with police brutality. But that's not what they did. They're talking about straight up immigration. And again, immigration is a problem, but again, that it's relevant to police brutality. So I was actually really disappointed when I did that, like when I finally looked into things myself, because, you know, I've had like other YouTubers, especially ones who I, you know, followed, and some who are no longer on the platform, and they would tell me stuff about that, and I was like, you know, yeah, but I think, you know, people like myself, we're supporting the movement for X, Y, and Z reasons, and our intentions are good, and da 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 da. But it's like, you know, a lot of people have good intentions, but if your good intentions are going to ultimately lead to something else completely that you had no idea that you were participating in, then what are you doing, you know? And it's funny because I've heard people, like, I've heard other YouTubers, maybe they may not necessarily be big YouTubers, because I honestly don't remember any of these people's names. It's just videos that I saw where they were complaining about how during the Black Lives Matter movement that there were people there talking about, you know, immigration, and there was Latin people there, and then there was, you know, like a lot of the LGBTQ community was there too, and basically kind of, you know, with signs and whatnot, kind of, you know, talking about their issues or promoting their issues, and you know, some of these people who were talking about this were upset. They were like, I don't understand. Well, what does that have to do with that? And what these people don't understand is that it's because the movement itself promotes those things. So that's why you're going to see these people, you know, at these protests. Not only that, then there was also me seeing firsthand the damage that Black Lives Matter did. We can get into the argument of what race of people were there doing what, right? Because people want to argue that it was white people, it was this, it was that. Look, BS, because it wasn't just white people doing stuff, okay? Cut the bullshit. Come on, okay? It was a mix of different races of people doing shit. And unfortunately, this is where I feel like our people, Latin people, black people, we don't want to take accountability for shit that our people do to our own communities. That pissed me off. And when I saw that firsthand, when I saw how bad certain parts of the Bronx got, I did a video on it. I have a video up on it. And we drove by the Bronx because we were close enough. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, what did this do? There was these small businesses that were destroyed. And then you don't hear nothing about these movements and all of the money that was raised from Black Lives Matter giving money back to the community. You don't hear them giving money to the families, like George Floyd's family or all these other families of people who were killed by the police. None of that. You don't hear any of, that money going towards the small businesses that were destroyed. And in a lot of cases in the Bronx, those businesses were black-owned businesses. And then there was a lot that were Latin-owned businesses. Did money go to any of those businesses after they were destroyed? Absolutely not. So it's like, make it make sense. So I was really highly disappointed because I believe that movement was something, especially when it was like made popular years ago, because again, I have a real issue with police brutality. That's why I did those videos with the all the killings of different Latin people that you never hear about by the police, because that's something that's always struck a chord with me. So that was why I did that at the time, because I felt passionately about that. That really, just anybody abusing their power in that way really, really bothers me. And even when I had first found out about George Floyd, I was highly upset about that. Highly upset. Okay? But at the same time, it's just a damn shame that there's so many people that feel like me and we have good intentions, but then if we're not looking into things, we're not even knowing what we're supporting. And it's a shame. It's a shame because there's a lot of good people with good intentions. A lot of the people aren't even, got a lot of white people with these good intentions too, that they're sick and tired of it. And then it's like, in the end, all the money going to this organization, then all of these other movements that are basically attached to Black Lives Matter. And who knows if the money is going to those movements, if it's going to the LGBTQ, whatever, or if it's going to, immigration. We don't know. We don't know where that money is going to. If it's going directly to these politicians right in their pockets, which that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. It's just dead wrong. And it's like, in the end, what's that really going to do for police brutality? Is that really putting a stop to police brutality? Probably not. So all of this for what? So that's my spiel on that. I don't think I really have much else to say about it. But this was just something that I wanted to talk about for a while now. But yeah, I wanted to get my thoughts together on it. And it's just, it's just a shame. It's just really a shame that movement turned out to be something that I ended up being highly disappointed in. I hate supporting something and then I feel like it just it stabs you in the back in the end. And it's just a shame. So anyhow, I'm going to go for now and I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care. Bye.